So today I'd like to welcome Peter Rowe. Very, very good to have you. And this is the fourth time that Peter has been with us. And he is a prolific producer of marine themed films. His feature films on the water include Treasure Island with Jack Palance, Lost, and Horse Latitudes, the story of the round the world sailor Donald Crowhurst, starring Gordon Pinsent. Peter's TV series includes Exploring Under Sail, Black Harbor, and Angry Planet. He has made documentaries on Sir Samuel Cunard, Joshua Slocum, and on the sinking of the War of 1812 warships Hamilton and Scourge, which we'll be seeing today. Peter is a longtime sailor and a member of the Explorers Club and the Mimico Cruising Club. He worked in the 80s as a skipper of a Bahamas charter boat, sailed a Mirage 35 Blade Runner for many years in California, Mexico, up the US East Coast, and here in Lake Ontario. He has had several boats in the last few years, and just this month bought a new boat, a 1988 CNC 35 Mark III called Restless, which he is currently working on in the last days before the snow flies and the ski season begins. Peter made his TV series Angry Planet, filming on 24 volcanoes around the world, and on one of them he ingested sulfuric acid, which destroyed one of his vocal cords. So I will ask you to turn up your hearing aids as he introduces the film today. Please give Peter Rowe a warm Shellback welcome.
Hello, everyone. Great to be here again. And let me share my screen and bring up the poster for today. I'm going to show you a film. It was made a few years ago for a group rather similar to Shellbacks in a certain way, a historical group, a community group in Port Credit called the Port Credit Village Project. And then we brought in all kinds of other sponsors, including the Trillium Foundation and the Hazel McCallion Foundation, others, and made this film, which was originally shown on a water screen, a screen of running water, falling water. That was shown through a summer a few years ago, Sandringham Park in Port Credit on the Credit River. And it's been seen elsewhere since. But just before we begin, I thought I'd just mention a couple of subjects on the same depressing subject as this of shipwreck that are more contemporary. This summer, I was sailing along the coast of the island, and I was about a mile off at Gibraltar Point, and I saw what looked like a shipwreck on the shores of the Gibraltar Point. So I went in, anchored, or not anchored, but moored at Queen City that evening. And the next morning, I went over down to Hanlon's and moored on the wall there, and then walked over to try and find this boat. And I did find it. This is what it looked like. And what the story on this boat was, I do not know. This was in about mid-August. It looked to me like it was a goner. And there's another view of it. Nice beach there at the end of Gibraltar. And I thought it was going to be there forever, but the next time I passed a few weeks later, it had gone. So presumably somehow it was removed. I don't know how it could have been maybe a front end loader picked it up. There have been a lot of shipwrecks at Gibraltar Point. There's even a plaque to honor them, and it mentions two of the most famous, both of whom were both named Toronto shipwrecks at the end of the 19th century. And they were apparently abandoned there. But as the plaque says, there were many more. So about 2 weeks later, I went back to Toronto, stayed overnight at, sailed down on a very windy day, east wind, which is part of this story. By then I'd what's the expression? Outstayed my welcome at Queen City, and they told me I'd been there twice, and that was it. They didn't want me there anymore. Apparently there's some. So I stayed instead at what's it called? Dredger's Bay, where the outer harbor yacht club is. And great anchorage, by the way, if you don't know it. Terrific 360-degree protection. Next morning, I woke up and CBC radio news, there was mention of a boat that had run aground in Burlington. And I found out that it was by someone that I know some of you know, and I knew. His name was Peter Ashby, and he ran aground, his boat ran aground September 3rd. And I just found this this clipping from the Star, and I hadn't seen this picture, but it really is strange because it was an east wind, fairly strong, 18 knots or something that day, and yet his jib is furled and his mainsail cover is still on, which is very strange. Whether or not the engine was on and still running when the police found this, I don't know. But the sad thing for me is that I didn't really think to do anything about it. And actually it was the day of the Canada's Cup, so I eventually went down and watched the Canada's Cup off the island for a while and then sailed back to Mimico. And only later did I think it was stupid of me to do that. I should have sailed down towards Hamilton and seen if I, by any chance, could have seen him in the water. But I didn't do that. It's unlikely that he would have survived through the night, but he might have. He was a good sailor. I had raced against him in the single-handed series. He was also a brain surgeon at Toronto General Hospital. But the fact that the sail covers on the main is very strange. Anyway, let me, if anyone's got some discussion about that, we can perhaps talk about it after the film.